Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to our first Monday meeting. Today we have Mazars USA presenting. We just want to thank them for coming, thank all of you guys for coming. And if you're comfortable, to help them out with the meeting, turn on your camera so they can see your beautiful faces. And I just want to tell you guys a quick few reminders about this week. Upcoming, we have our mid-tier panel actually tonight at 5 to 6:30. And then that's just an opportunity for you to meet some more professionals, just like these meetings. And then on Thursday, we have Meet the Firms, which, as you all know and probably heard from this club, is a really important event to just get your name out there and network with professionals. And then Isaac, if you want to take the last couple reminders.
Right. This upcoming Friday, we also have the meet and greet event, which will have games, prizes, and much more, where you'll get to meet the AA family to communicate or network with them. We also have the membership drive that's still ongoing to become an official AA member. So if you haven't done so, you could join the table sitting hours, which are held sometimes daily, depending on the hours. So if you want to know more information, you could look at our social media to find the table hours and the Zoom meeting and ID.
Okay, and then I'll hand it off to Stephen and Carla.
All right, hello everyone. We're here presenting the presentation, professional skills taught by employers. Just a little bit about me. My name is Stephen Kim. I'm a manager in the LA office. I've been auditing since 2013. Time really flies. And I really focus on the manufacturing and distribution and technology industries. I'm joined by my co-host Carla, who will talk a little bit about herself.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Carla Charan. I'm currently an audit senior, like a new senior actually, at Mazars LA office. I actually graduated from CSUN 2 years ago, and I joined Mazars right after my graduation. I work in audit, and as Steven, I also work in manufacturing and technology clients.
Perfect. So we'll go through the agenda today. So the first part of our presentation is kind of getting you all to know who Mazars USA is. Then we'll dive into the meat of the presentation, kind of giving you a lot of tips and advice when you do join, professional setting and when you start your career off. Some really important skills and advice that'll be very valuable to you when you first start. And then the last part of the presentation will be a Q&A. You can ask us anything about Mazars, how any other tips and advice that you might be more interested in. So yeah, that's our agenda. So a little bit about us. Mazars USA is a mid-tier firm. We provide all services as all the big four and all the other mid-tier accounting firms provide. So I just really wanted to point out that Mazars USA is a subgroup of the Mazars Group. And at Mazars USA, we have 10 US offices with 100 partners and 900 professionals. Mazars USA is part of the Mazars Group, which is a large international full-service accounting, audit, tax, and advisory firm with over 24,000 professionals, and we operate in over 91 countries. So we have a huge international footprint, but more recently we wanted to expand more in the US market, and that's who Mazars USA is. So kind of recapping, again, we have over like 900 professionals, 100 partners, and we operate in over 10 US offices. So yeah, we have a huge international footprint, and one of like the cool things I think about us is that we are able to send seniors and managers across different offices to work in different offices. You know, more recently we had 2 South Africans who've come to the LA office who had an opportunity to join the LA office for a kind of short period of time, but actually they ended up extending their stay. And, you know, and we do send others to all over the world as well. You know, I'm English speaking. I'm definitely looking into maybe going to the UK, joining the UK office. So that's what sets us apart from other mid-tiers, I think, is having this huge international footprint. And not to also mention, we are headquartered in France, Paris, France. So that's kind of a cool thing as well. And the 2 partners in our office are French, and they have really thick French accent. So it took a little bit of getting used to listening to them and everything, but really, really good people. So as you can see here, really exemplifying the international presence, you know, over 91 countries, there's 318 offices. And as you can see, like from 2005 to 2018, at the bottom left corner there, you'll see that the head count has grown from 5,700 in 2005 all the way to 2018. So you can see like we're growing exponentially and very fast, which provides a lot of opportunity for everyone, right? As you see on the bottom right, you can also see that our revenues have significantly increased as well, from 479 million in 2005 to 1.6 billion in 2018. So again, there's a lot of opportunities here in the Mazars group. This tab kind of shows our international presence as well. As you can see, most of our clients are in Europe, but as you can see, we're really trying to expand and grow our US office, particularly the LA office. Just a little bit of background about the LA office. It just recently opened in 2017. And at that time, there were only 4 employees. Today, I think by this fall, with our new staff group joining in this fall, I think we'll have around 25 employees as well. So you can see the growth. And again, and our office is in Century City. And I think this provides a lot of opportunity, and you know, we're growing fast. It's exciting. And just a little background about me, I joined from another mid-tier firm when I first, so going from that to this, it's been, you know, really, really fun in terms of having large impact on the culture and really trying to grow the office. I feel like I'm making a big impact. So I found that really valuable. So that's a bit about the LA office. So next I'll hand it off to Carla, who's going to touch on some of these professional skills and advice and tips. And I will probably chime in here and there, kind of giving you my experience, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about the professional skills that we believe are important and that are sought by employers. We believe that these skills apply to like anyone in the career, whether you are choosing to go for private accounting, for public accounting, or for government jobs. These are like the most like common that we believe you need to show that you have or to demonstrate. One of the most important ones is leadership. So if we can go to the next slide, Steven.
Sure.
Yeah, so we believe that anyone should be able to show that they have some sort of leadership skills. And we have like come to like some points that we believe a good leader has, some qualities. One of them is that a leader has good communication skills. as you know, or maybe you don't know, but in public accounting, you are required to communicate, with your managers. If you are a senior, you are required to communicate with your staffs, especially with your clients. So it is very important that you are able to communicate in a professional way, that you are able to have a good communication, verbal, but also written communication. It's important that you have some awareness of what is going on, that you have honesty, that you have integrity, and I believe this is important in the accounting profession in general. One that I consider very important is that you have to be willing to and be able to develop other people. I had mentioned this in prior meetings, and when I was recruiting or when I decided that I wanted to work in public accounting, I really never considered the people aspect of the career. So I wanted to be an accountant. I wanted to work in audit. I wanted to have client relationships, and I knew that. But I never considered that you are also going to be in a position that you have to help develop the other people in your team. In my case, because I'm a newly senior, so I'm going to be responsible for developing the staffs 2, staff 1s. And I believe that this is a very important quality for anyone, is that you have to be willing to put the time, the effort, and to really care about other people. Because at the end of the day, I feel like audit especially is a job that is done in teams. So you have to really care about your team, and you want to see your team succeed. It's not about you as a person, but it's about you, the whole team. And also coming on to this, this is going to help you to also build relationships with everyone. And we had this phrase here in the slide that actually is from one of our senior managers, that she always says you have to be the best, not in the team, but be the best for the team. And that's what should be your goal in any job. So when I was recruiting, actually a lot of the questions that employers will ask me will be related to leadership. They will ask me if I consider that I have some sort of leadership skills. And they will actually ask me to provide some examples to demonstrate that. So I advise you guys that are in the recruiting process that you have some examples on mind where you can demonstrate how you are a good leader yourself, or how you are able to and willing to become a good leader. So this is very important. In my personal case, when people will ask me this in the interviews, I had some tutoring experience. So I will always prove that I was able to help people with this tutoring tasks that I will do. You can mention, any activities that you are involved, any positions in the accounting association, or the different teams that you have joined, but it's always good to show that you can be a good leader.
There's one thing I'd like to add as well. I think if you really show that you can take initiative in doing something, a lot of times it's no one's going to tell you what to do in your career, or especially in a team. Or when you first start, people will, but when you start progressing through your career, no one's going to tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it. It really comes from you. You have to take that initiative. If you think to yourself, I should probably do this, you probably should do it, right? And so, yeah, it's really taking initiative. And if you look at, when you're in college, you have to really demonstrate in your resume that you've taken initiative to do things, right? Like maybe joining a community service organization to help others, and other programs as well. So really showing initiative, I think, is another great point, or a good quality in a leader. Yeah.
Yes. So if we go to the next one. So another one that we have choose to talk about is teamwork. As I mentioned to you guys, most of the work is done in teams, and I believe that applies to I don't have real experience working outside the audit, except for some forensic accounting that I did in an internship. But I believe that anywhere that you work in the accounting field, you are required to work with other people. This is part of the profession. So to be able to be a team player, you have to learn how to listen to people. You have to learn to collaborate. You have to learn to communicate with different people. And you have to keep in mind that you are going to speak to people with different backgrounds. And in our personal example, this is one of the strengths that I believe we have in the LA office in particular. As Steven mentioned before, we have like a lot of like people from all over the world. So we are a very international team. And I believe that despite being all like very different, with different backgrounds, different educations, coming from different places, we have managed to really create a team and being able to work with each other. I believe that this is like very important in any job. You have to also be able to manage conflict. Not everything is, perfect. So there are going to be situations where you really need to like deal with complicated or difficult clients. So you have to be like patient. You have to like be able to do your best to like resolve the problems that you have, but like doing it in a way that you still have a good relationship with your clients. You have to have also a lot of like empathy for other people. And I believe that teamwork applies to like everything. I could probably give like a lot of examples in how I believe we apply teamwork in our office. I believe that we're a very like close group of people. So we try to like help each other. We have to like encourage each other to do their best. And we try to like really take this team like not only like saying like, oh, we're a team and that's it, but really applying what it means to be like a team and to work together.
Yeah, definitely. And when you first, start your career off, a lot of it's accounting, developing that fundamentals. But as you progress through your career, you start to realize that it becomes less and less about accounting and more about teamwork and managing people, building client relationships, and teamwork. Managing a team. So just keep that in mind. It becomes less and less about accounting as you progress.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like some advice that I will also like to always share with the students is like, it's very important that you bring to the table a very positive attitude. I believe that that makes a difference. To be honest, when you finish school, you don't really know much. That's at least my personal experience. And they can train you, they can teach you what you need to know to like do the job. You learn with time. It's like learning is like a process that it's like, you learn, I believe, at every stage of your career. You never stop learning. You never stop developing. But I believe that this is something they can train you. This is something you can learn. But the good attitude and bringing this like good sense of what you want to do and that you want to be part of where you are, that's something that is really very important and it really makes a difference.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that more than what you just said, Carla. Just
Yes.
If you have a positive attitude when you come in as a staff or an associate at any firm that you go into, having that positive attitude is like 80% of the battle. Just
sure.
Smile, be willing to learn. Because everything's going to be new to you. You can learn accounting in school, but auditing or doing tax work is going to be completely different when you actually go to work. So yeah, just having a positive attitude. I just remember as a senior, whenever the staff had a positive attitude, it just made my day so much easier and better, as opposed to having someone that had a bad attitude. And we still got there in the end, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? It doesn't have to be that painful.
It just makes the job easier for everyone and working together easier for everyone, because at the end of the day, you have to remember that you spend more time with your team than sometimes with your own family. So it's like good to have this good relationship and positive relationship with everyone.
But kind of going back to your point too, Carla, like if someone's having a bad attitude, also have empathy. You don't know what's going on in that person's life, right? So keep that in mind and just be professional throughout the whole engagement.
Yes. So we can go to the next one. So as I said before, it is important that you have very good communication skills, like verbal, written, that you are able to listen, that you have good non-verbal communication too. Keep that in mind, because sometimes you don't say the words, but maybe your expressions say more than your own words. So you have to like keep that in mind. We add here like presentation skills, negotiation skills. I believe that as you progress in your career and you are like in the higher levels, maybe this will apply more. Like you have to like negotiate with clients. You have to be able to bring clients to your firm. You have to be able to kind of like present your firm and like to show your clients that you really add value to them with your services. As a staff and as like a senior, I believe that you have to be very good at communicating, because as Steven said, like nobody will tell you, in the beginning they will tell you, but after that nobody will tell you what to do. But you have to like keep in mind that you have to approach people and like ask. You have to let people know if you are confused, if you are having issues. Like one example that we are always like to like mention or to give is that you should be this person. For example, Steven is my manager. I should be the person coming to Steven and telling to Steven, oh, listen, I am having issues. I don't know how to do this. I need help with this. Or like the client is telling me this, but I'm not sure, I need help. If I don't come and say that, I mean, you have to keep in mind your manager is busy, is working in multiple engagement with multiple clients. He may not even know that I'm like facing this.
Yeah.
So it is important to do this, to like bring these issues, to bring what is going on. And I believe that it's also very important to do it in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So my advice when you guys start your jobs is don't wait until the very end, you know, to come and tell your manager like, oh, you know, I couldn't do anything because I didn't know how. You should like approach them early on the stage of the audit.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Carla, and being able to filter the type of issues that you come across. Like certain issues, I don't need to hear about everything, right? But filter through the most important types of issues to bring to the manager and present that in an effective way. Because, you know, working with Carla, she'll let me know the issue. She'll provide solutions, and we'll brainstorm on those, on how to get this done and completed, right, across the finish line. So, you know, effective communication is really, really important. But I think when you all first join, you're going to first be judged on your email skills, right? Can you email the client with good punctuation and proper grammar? You know, does it flow a logical way? So being able to really write those emails, especially now that we're all working remotely. Before, when I was a staff and senior, I always took initiative to actually talk to the client instead of just shooting an email, right? I'm able to build a good relationship with the client. So next time when I request for something, you know, the client will be more receptive to me, right? But now that, you know, remote work is becoming more common, your emails have to be, you know, concise, has to be effective, has to get to the point, has to be well written. So just keep that in mind, and you'll build that skill over time. But if you can, you know, before you start work on that, especially like maybe during recruiting, you know, you're emailing us, read your emails, double check your emails 3-4 times before sending it. You know, I always catch myself like, oh, I could have, I caught something here, I forgot to put an apostrophe here. Like, read it thoroughly, because, you know, as a new staff, the first thing that we judge you on, or a few things that we judge you on when you come in, is how well you communicate and how well you write your emails. So.
Yes, I agree with that. And also, I would like to mention something, and it's like from my personal experience at Mazars, I believe that this is one of the main things that I really value about like my job, and is that we are really given the opportunities to communicate. I know there are like some companies where there is like a lot of steps, you know, and really the staff 1, staff 2, even seniors, like they have very limited communication with clients. I believe that in our office, in particular in the LA office, we have this opportunity to really build relationships and to really speak to your clients. You know, we really try to like help everyone to like get better in this communication so that they can at the same time solve their problems, you know. So like Steven said, when you are like a new staff, we definitely are gonna judge people from their emails. And I just want to share like a funny story right now. For example, we had someone like, I'm very involved in the recruiting. So we were doing recruiting with certain school, and we had this person email us back and thanking us for considering X firm. And so this person literally sent like an email to the Mazars team thanking them, but then mentioned the other firm. So he was like, I'm gonna just give an example. It was not this firm, but let's say like he sent an email to Mazars saying, oh, thank you for presenting, and I'm really considering KPMG and I will apply. So this is like a case when obviously this person didn't read the email. First, this person didn't read the email twice. From our perspective, this person was probably just copy pasting the same to like everyone. So I feel like it's a funny story, but it's real. So you guys should be very careful with whatever emails you are sending to people from recruiting, from everything that you are doing. And you should always make sure that you double like check your emails.
Double check who you're sending it to, because if you're sending it to like Kevin, there's gonna be like 10 Kevins that pop up, right? And then you might send it to the wrong Kevin. It might have confidential information in there. So again, double check everything before sending it.
Yeah. And you know, like from the perspective that we saw it, we didn't even see it like, oh, you know, he mentioned another firm. That's not really the way we saw it. But the way we were seeing it was, oh, maybe like if this person doesn't even double check their emails, so, you know, makes you consider, is really this person a good fit for the job? Is this person going to be able to send proper emails to the client, or maybe not? So it's like something to like keep in mind.
But, you know, mistakes happen. It's not the end of the world. It's okay, you know. But if you can
it's like a funny story.
Yeah, exactly. But kind of going back to Carla's thing, like I think once you get more, how do you say it, accustomed to talking to the clients, that's going to help you throughout your career, because you'll get more and more comfortable. Because a lot of times you're not going to have easy conversations with your clients. You're going to have to discuss a lot of maybe material weaknesses, you know, certain adjustments they don't want to book. And eventually when you make partner, senior manager, you'll be presenting to the audit committee. So definitely being able to develop those communication skills early on in your career, you know, will set you up for the future. And, you know, put yourself out there. You know, not everyone, I mean, for me, for sure, I'm not like a great presenter, but like I've done enough to be okay about it, you know, and, you know, so you have to just, you know, put yourself out there, and, you know, people, you know, you will stumble, but that's okay. Just learn from them, from everything. Exactly. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I have a lot of fear of public speaking. So I will never imagine that I will be presenting to anyone, because in the beginning, I will try to avoid speaking to everyone. But then with time, you like get some like, you know, you start liking it when you start practicing more and more. And so that's why we like to do it now.
Yeah.
So we can go to the next one. So the next one is related to what we have mentioned before, and is that you have to have customer and client service orientation. You have to keep in mind that at the very end, you are providing a service for a client. And so you have to make sure that you are building a strong relationship with these clients so that they continue to want to be with you. So you have to always be professional. You have to make sure that you are giving added value. You have to be patient. Like Steven said, not all the communications are going to be like the best all the time. There are some times that difficult issues will be like discussed, but you have to like make sure to use very positive language. One example that I can give you guys related to this when you are like in the job is we never tell our clients like, oh, you are grown. for example, if you find like some issues or something that you believe it may have been done differently, yes, you are gonna go speak to the client. Yes, you are gonna try to let the client know that it needs some adjustment or some changes, but you never go and tell the client like, oh, we just found out that you're grown. You're gonna just ask and try to understand what is the client reasoning behind what they did. And then you are gonna be more able to like help them and to give them more meaningful like advice or help when you really understand what they are doing, instead of just saying like, oh, you're grown, we're right, because that will take you nowhere, literally.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't want to tell a client you did something wrong, like right off the bat, right? You have to, again, they're our client. We provide a service to them. And, you have to be able to adapt, right? So if a client has an issue and you found a potential adjustment, and you have to think outside the box sometimes, be able to think, okay, if this is an issue, but we got coverage over on this side, so we're able to patch it up, then we're able to like test less, which the client will be happy, and we'll provide like a solution, right? So that both sides are happy. So like, I think one of the biggest things to like really develop over my career, and I learned this over time, is don't only come with issues and problems. I think you have to come with solutions, right? Think about some solutions. You might not have all the answers. Like for example, Carla will find an issue on something, but she doesn't just come with that issue. She comes with 3 solutions, and then I'll look at the solutions and be like, number 2 works the best. Let's go down that route, instead of, because like that's super valuable, right? It's not like Carla's always coming to me with issues and I have to like, I'm not in the detail, and so I think that's a really helpful skill to have throughout your career. So that's another tip.
I agree. This is like a very like a skill that you have to try to develop in yourself, and it's just not rely, like you rely on people to help you and to guide you, but you cannot rely that they will solve 100% of all the issues that you will find. Like Steven said, it's important you are very proactive and you actually put the thinking and put the effort, because it shows, it really shows if I come to Steven and just bring him a list of all the problems that I have, or if I really come to him with like some of the problems that are important and like some solutions and some like probably like steps of what we can do. And I feel like that will save his time, that will save our time, and ultimately will be better for everyone. Yeah,
you bring a lot of value. And it shows, like maybe like sometimes call like 80% of it is correct, but the 20% you need refining from me, right? So instead of me always trying to, or whoever your manager or whoever is, I think that's super valuable skill. And I still remember a senior manager told me that earlier in my career, and I still remember it to this day. So I hope that you guys can remember it as well, and when you first start.
Yeah, that's like great advice. We can probably move the next slide. So this one is also very important, especially during busy season, the famous busy season, which is time management. You have to be very accountable of your time. You have to be able to prioritize. You have to set goals for yourself, for your team, if you are a senior manager or senior manager. You have to be organized. You have to be able to delegate to your team and to trust your team with certain tasks and activities too. I believe, I always give this example because this is one of the main that I struggled when I started on the job. And is when I first joined the job, I didn't really have much experience, so I wasn't able to prioritize. So that comes with time. I have seen that now, like I'm able to like set a better plan for myself in the work that I have to perform. But when I was like in my first couple of months, I really didn't have idea of what it was important or not. So you rely more on your senior, and in your managers for them to like tell you, oh, you know, this is what is important. But even then, I always advise people, please make sure that you are in the right track. Please double check when you are new to make sure that you are doing what people is expecting you to do. Please always check that you are working in what you are supposed to be working. Because I always give this example. So I always said, if I have to, let's say, audit cash and accounts receivables. So probably someone with more experience will tell me that I will do accounts receivable first, because you need to like send confirmations to like third parties, and you are required to do testing and do more things than if you are just testing something simple like cash. But from the staff point of view, and that happened to me, like, you know, when I was like new, you always try to do what you know or what is easier for you. So if someone was going to tell me, just work in these areas, you know, but don't tell me which is more important, then I will automatically pick the one I like the most or the one that is easier for me. But then I will realize that probably this is not more time efficient, or is not like in the way that it's supposed to be. So if you are struggling, just make sure that you ask someone. Make sure, usually like a staff is never alone, you know, you always have your seniors. So just ask your senior, you know, you can tell them like, oh, you know, I still don't know how to prioritize. Can you like help me? But not only like to tell you what to do, but also to teach you how they prioritize so that you can learn step by step to do it yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And just one tip that I have is writing. I like to write down 3 to 5 things I want to complete that day, whether it's work related or something personal related, or errand related. I always write 3 to 5 things I want to get done that day, because it feels like I have some type of direction, and it feels good to mark it off, you know. So I try to at least do 3 things for work and 2 things like around, you know, where I live, or like go grocery shopping, or I have to go pick something up. So like once you write it down, there's something about it, you know, that makes you want to complete it and makes you want to check it off, and it organizes you. And once you write it down, you can prioritize which one's the most important by which, you know, and it feels good to mark them off and get those completed. So I mean, that's one thing, one tip that I have, just writing down what you need to get done that day, as opposed to just kind of floating around doing 10 different things but not getting anything done, right? When you write down those 5 things and you focus on those 5 things one by one, you have a productive day. So
I feel like, taking back into your list, I feel like this is when you feel the most like accomplished. I feel like it's really great when at the end of the day you can reflect in what you did and you accomplished something, instead of, like Steven said, like just jumping from one thing to the other one and not finishing anything.
yeah, I'd rather have 3 to 5 things done than having done 10 things and not have anything done, right? Yeah.
So we can go to the next one, please. So this one also goes back to what we have been speaking before, and is that you have to have some problem solving skills. You have to be able to find solutions the best that you can. Obviously, when you are like a staff or like a new senior, it's a little more difficult. You don't really have the experience or the skills, but with time, you have to learn how to develop this skill in yourself. And I believe that this applies since you are like a student. You have to really use a lot of like reasoning. You have to show also when you are like recruiting for jobs or looking for jobs. I believe that it's important that you have some sort of problem solving skills. I know like some people will even like play games to like try to like people to show if they have these skills. You have to be good with reasoning, with evaluating. You have to, this one applies specifically for audit. You have to have very clear and detailed documentation. I mean, applies to the career in general, but I believe in audit, this is really, really, really very important. You have to be able to be very detailed in your work. You have to be like organized in the work papers that you do. and you have to be able to challenge information provided by the client. And like Steven said, at the end of the day, you won't learn if you just like bring your problems to anyone. You will learn when you are at least giving it a try to solve like your problems. The way I personally try to do it is, even if I'm not sure, I will do like my very best to try to come up with possible solutions. Yep. And believe me, it's very like you guys can listen here from the two sides, you know, like Steven said, it's great when I bring the solutions. From my point of view, it's great when they tell me like, oh, you know, like you had like 80% right in your thinking, in your solving. So this is what you are missing, and then we can complete together. So I feel like it's very like a good feeling for yourself when you are really trying to challenge yourself to like doing this.
Yeah, Carl had a great point. Like maybe when you're a staffer, you know, young, early senior, you might not have all the kind of accounting knowledge and stuff like that, but if you just try, just do it. Why not? You know, and
it's fun
yourself,
too.
Just try. It's fun too, you know, and there's Google as well. You know, you can always Google anything. But I really wanted to point out clear and detailed documentation. A lot of times, people when I read something or when a younger staff member writes something, it doesn't tell me the issue. It doesn't tell me how we resolved it, and it doesn't tell me a conclusion in a concise manner, right? If you can think of developing writing skills to really, and I'd rather not have it in 20 sentences long, but have it in 3 sentences where I know the issue, I know how we resolved it, what risks did we mitigate, and what is the conclusion? Are we okay with this or not okay with this, right? So if you can think logically on how to like have that documentation and be very concise and not have it be written in fluff language. We're really looking for business language, which is to the point. I'm not reading a novel or like a English literature where you have, all this crazy stuff. And I just want it to the point. But a lot of times when I'll read something, I read the whole thing, I don't get the conclusion, you know? So developing those writing skills are super important, and makes our lives, managers and seniors, partners' lives much easier. If you develop that really crucial writing skill to think of something logically, to the point, concise, what's my issue, what's my conclusion, what's our solution, so.
Yes, yeah. And another tip that I always give to myself and to the other staffs, and I'm gonna give to you guys, is if you guys don't understand what you documented or what you wrote, nobody else will. So just keep that in mind. Because sometimes you can go back to the person who actually wrote it and ask them, like, can you explain me? And they are not even able to like explain you what they were trying to say. So if you don't really understand, just think about like, you can use like a Steven approach, try to come like, with the problem, the solution, the conclusion. Because if you are like unsure or confused, probably like keep in mind that the other people reviewing your work will feel the same way, will be like also confused and will not be understanding. So I think that this is like a good tip to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good point.
We can go to the next slide. And so here we have put together some other ones that we believe that people need. One of them is Excel, and to have good researching and documenting skills. Personally, from my experience at CSUN, I do remember that we had quite some training in some of the classes regarding researching and documenting. Like the codification, the accounting standards were not new to me when I started the job. I was very familiar with some of them. I knew how to research, or at least the basics of researching something. I remember we had quite some practice on that. But Excel was particularly one of the more like weak areas that I had. I literally had and I still don't have like very good Excel skills. And this is one that you really need just to make your life easier. it is very important that you at least know like the general formulas, how to like do tables, how to do VLOOKUPs. I personally didn't really know even the basics. So in the beginning, it was like a real challenge. In my case, I believe that I was able to like get a little better because we are lucky that in our team, we have a lot of people who are very good at this. So they were like willing to like help us and to train us and to teach us like easier ways. And we always said something that is, if it's taking you forever, there is like probably an easier way to do it, and probably you are not using like, you know, the shortcut or the formula that you should. I think that happened to me a couple of times in the beginning because I will kind of like try to like manually do these tables, and then people will notice, of course, that it was like taking forever, you know, and they will ask me, show me, what are you doing? And then they will realize that I really didn't know how to do it, and they will teach me like new ways. So I believe that it's like very important that you guys at least get familiar with like the basics. So the more prepared that you are, the easy that the transition from a school to the job is gonna be for yourself and for everyone. So Excel is one of these like important things.
Yeah, I mean, when you first start, the main thing that you'll be working in Excel. And if you're not comfortable with that, it's gonna, you'll learn quickly over time, but if you can just prepare yourself before then, it's just gonna make your life so much easier. You know, and if like Carla's main rule of thumb is taking you forever to do something, there's a faster way, and just Google it. I mean, that's how I learned, Googling. How come I can't do a VLOOKUP, or, you know, and it'll give you, just Google it, you'll find solutions very quickly, because a lot of people have encountered that similar problem before. You know, you're not the first one to have encountered it. So
yeah, you can find literally everything with Google. So it's like there is no excuse really for this. It's yes, you have to be aware, you know, that there are easiest ways and try to like apply them.
yeah.
And so I believe that that was the last one that we had. So now we are gonna open to the Q&A.
Does anyone have any questions for our Mazars presenters?
Keenan raising his hand. So Keenan, if you want to go ahead with your question.
Sure, yeah, I'll go ahead. So Carla and Steven, thank you so much for presenting today on, you know, communication and you know, building those skills, soft skills. But I just have like one quick question. So like, what singular personality trait or skill would you say is your greatest asset when starting out at Mazars, or even in public accounting in general?
I think the first thing is, you know, positive attitude. I think we kind of touched upon this. You know, just being willing to learn, having a positive attitude, showing up on time. That's super important, because you're not going to know everything when you first start, because again, you know, you started off your career, right? But if you have a positive attitude, that's 80% of the battle. And, you know, people will like you. You know, if you show in like upset or you know, giving back attitude and this and that, like no one's going to be willing to help you, you know, and that's like definitely like 80% of the battle. I don't know about, what do you think, Carla?
I agree with that. Like, I feel like that's the main one to me too, like positive attitude, and also be proactive, you know, make sure that you look for it. Like, for example, what I try to apply is I try to talk to people. I try to let people know what I need help with. I try to let people know what I'm interested in too. So, because, you know, if you talk to your managers and you said like, oh, you know, I would like to learn this, and like, you know, at some point, so they may come across these opportunities for you, and they will then facilitate these learning opportunities to you. So I believe that communication also is very important. You have to be able to like communicate and be always part of the team. And I will also say, take pride of your work, you know, try to do your very best and really be proud that you are really doing a good job and you are making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So I believe we have another one. It says, is the LA office predominantly M&D and tech, or are there other more industries? What services lines are available at the office?
So yeah, definitely it's manufacturing, distribution, and technology. Those are our main ones. We also do a lot of like luxury retail as well. As you can imagine, being headquartered in Paris, France, you can only imagine what kind of names come out of there. So we, and I think we also do a lot of beauty products as well. So those are the main ones, and personally, those are my favorite ones. You know, it's cool to see what someone builds and makes, and it's tangible. I gravitated towards that, to manufacturing and distribution. I also like technology because they had like awesome offices, all the snacks you can want at the client, happy hours on Thursdays. It was a cool working environment, and I think working in technology particularly, you encounter a lot of accounting issues. If you kind of think about it, a lot of technology companies are startups, right? So when you're a startup, how do you get your financing? It comes from equity, right? So a lot of equity transactions. I like seeing that. That's one of like the more complicated, more complex accounting auditing section that you may encounter. So yeah, I gravitated towards those two. I really enjoy working on those two industries. Yeah. What about you, Carla?
I prefer like the technology ones more than M&D. I just like them better for some reason. I like the e-commerce clients a lot too, because I believe this is like something fun to work on. So those are probably like my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Does
I have
anyone
a
else
quick
have
question for you guys?
Sure.
Carla, you mentioned that when you're talking about leadership or just being a part of a team and all the qualities that you need, you mentioned that it's better to be the best version of yourself. It's better to be good. It's good to be part of a good team, but you have to be good for your team. So what is one way that you guys keep people around you or your team motivated? So how do you keep everyone around you motivated?
Well, at Mazars, personally, I am involved in a lot of different things. So one of the first things that I found motivating is that we really evaluate everyone in our team. So for us, every person is valuable, and we treat you as a person, not as a number or one more in the list. I know in some like of the big companies, this is one of the issues that people experience, and is that they feel like they are not known or they are not really appreciated. I believe that this is the main motivator for everyone in our office, and is that we really appreciate people, and we make sure that we know that we appreciate your efforts and that you are known and that you are listened. We also care a lot about training. So we have like the general like company trainings that happen like once a year or twice a year, but we also have like the LA office made trainings that are really focused in the weakness that we have seen in our own office, in aspects that we believe is important to like learn in the office. For example, Stephen is actually the one who like managed the training program, which I think is very, very helpful for all of us. We also have like social activities, we have volunteer days. We have like an employee appreciation team. We have Women at Mazars initiatives. So we have a lot of like activities going on where we try to involve everyone. And because we are like still like an office that is like kind of like built in, like we're really building the office, like Steven said, I believe that all of us feel like we make an impact. And this is like very like a big motivator for everyone. Personally, I have been only here like for like literally less than 2 years, but I feel like I have given so many opportunities to like participate in different areas, like, and to be very involved in different things. Like as of now, I'm probably involved like in 4 different teams just because I like it. So I would say that's one of the ways to motivate people.
I think it's 2 things. I think first, showing appreciation should be a given for anything. If someone does a great job, we let them know. And I think the other part to your question, Gohar, is like, I think it depends. You got to find out what motivates someone, right? I think you have to be empathetic and kind of over time, you'll figure out what gets that person going, you know? It really depends. And that's my job as a manager, to manage the teams in a way. Okay, I know Carla likes to work on the more complicated section, so we'll motivate, and she gets motivated by doing that. So we'll get her, because like she likes to be challenged that way, right? Whereas another person might not do that. You have to really adapt, really kind of know your team, and then put that team together and coordinate and manage them to get the most out of them, right? So that it really depends. You have to really understand what motivates someone. So
Thank you guys so much for the answer. I really appreciate it.
yeah, no worries.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Stephen and Carla, for the whole presentation. It was awesome. I feel like there's a lot of detailed tips that helped me, so thank you. My question is, I know Carla kind of touched on it. I feel like for me personally, I'm kind of passionate about like giving back and volunteer work and stuff, and especially with the job of what audit brings, there's a lot of hours and everything. So I feel like volunteer work gives balance in the job. So I was just wondering if you guys could share like any experiences that you've had with the firm giving back, or like how you kind of shared about the volunteer days, Carla?
Yeah, so we have these Mazars volunteer days. Honestly, this year, this was like a little different just because of like the virus, of course, so we were not able to like execute quite the plan like it was originally planned. But just to give you an example, like last year, we had this like activity where we all went together to like a shelter. And then we tried to like make breakfast and get to talk to people, and like we give like a monetary like donation, but the most important thing is to donate your time.
Right.
At least that's the way we see it. So we had a lot of fun, honestly, going there, making breakfast for them. We had planned something very similar this year that we were not able to do, unfortunately. And we are also like right now, because like we have created different groups in the office for like, so people like are assigned to like different activities. So we're trying to like plan more for like the coming days. But we do have like Mazars like globally activities, and we also have specific to the LA office activities. And I agree with you, like it's true, like it requires a lot of time. Like, like the hours in public accounting can be hard sometimes. But you always have opportunity, to find your own balance. I have seen that a lot of people that I work with do a lot of like outdoor activities, a lot of like outside the work on volunteering. I feel like if you put like the time, you will always have these opportunities.
Yeah. I just joined in January. I unfortunately wasn't able to go to the volunteer day. I was looking forward to that. But I think we have like 2 years, right, Carla, once things kind of go back.
Yeah, when things go back to normal, my understanding is we have 2. I was only in 1 last year. And then the next one was supposed to happen like around May, I believe, this year. And that one we had to like kind of like change it a little bit because we were not able to physically go there.
And for the LA office, one way I was able to give back was kind of Carla was saying, give back by doing these trainings. Because we did an LA grid where people were split up between who does the trainings, who does like the social events, who does the networking, who does the business development. And we have like a champion for each group and, several members underneath. So then that's how we all contribute to the office, right? Because yes, we're smaller, we're growing very fast, but we need to build that culture. And I volunteered for the training, which I really enjoy doing. So that's one way I was able to give back. Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing.
Yeah. Also, I would like to mention that because we're like a small office, a small group of people, any ideas are welcome, So if one of us, the members of the team, say, hey, you guys, I think we should try to do this, probably go volunteer here, people will definitely try to go with you. That's something that I found pretty cool, that you are able to actually propose your own initiatives, and we like can try to like make them work for us.
Yeah.
We
Awesome.
also have some question from Mariana that it says, how do you do the training for the new associates, and how long does it take? So basically for the new associates, in the beginning, we all go to like a 2-week training. That's like a training that is in the headquarters in New York. Prior to like, coronavirus, we used to actually go to New York and spend 2 weeks there full time doing the training. Now it's done remotely. And that's basically like that training is specific for all the new hires, for all the staff ones. And in that training, you are like training how to like use the software and how to like kind of audit, but in like, I will call it like audit in a nutshell, because they teach you like the very basics of everything. But then once you join the office, we always take some time to like train you. In the beginning, there is like, that's why people who join us usually never join in busy season. They join in the slowest time of the year, so that they have the opportunity to be trained on the job. So we have a lot of on-hands training. And as I mentioned, we have like LA office exclusive like training program that Steven manages.
And how cool it is to go to New York for a week.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
pretty
kind
cool.
of feel for the people now that don't have the opportunity to go there.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to like be, they do it for all the levels. So I went 2 weeks when I was a staff 1. I went another 2 weeks when I was a staff 2.
And you're right in Manhattan, right? That's where the office is.
It's like a very great training. I will say this is one of the main things that I really enjoy when I had like my first couple of weeks at Mazars.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're gonna close off our Q&A session there. Again, I want to thank Mazars for coming out and speaking to everyone. It was really awesome. Thank you, members and everyone, for coming out to the meeting. Just once again, I'm going to remind you guys about the upcoming events. We have the mid-tier panel tonight from 5 to 6:30. That you get to meet with the professionals and prepare for Meet the Firms. We have Meet the Firms on Thursday, so that's coming up very quick. And then we have our meet and greet this Friday, and we have an ongoing membership drive. So make sure to keep those in mind, and I'm going to pass it off to Gohar.